It was a very interesting film. I enjoyed it, especially that it's in New York City. I'm a New Yorker. I would love
Mhm.
to speak more on like the concept. How did this, what was the discussion like to produce this film?
Yeah, totally. So myself, the director, Ivan, our DP Jamal, and our production designer, Sayoko, we were all on a 5-day commercial shoot
Mm.
um, in the city the week prior to shooting. And it was one of the hardest shoots we were ever a part of, went into overtime every single day. And on the last day of shooting, on the Friday, went into overtime again. And so we were the place where we rented this beautiful, expensive camera equipment from closed. And so we wouldn't be able to return it until the Monday. So instead of it sitting in a box truck all weekend, on a whim, our director Ivan kind of said, "What if we just shoot something in the next 24 hours and see what we can create?" And so he asked Jamal, Sayoko, myself, and then he called upon Gideon, who was in the film, who is just like a very creative, free spirit. And, he said to Gideon, "Do you have anything that you'd be interested in shooting? And could we shoot one of your music, to one of your songs?" And yeah, we picked out Sea Lion Cow, which Sea Lion Cow is, as you saw in the video, the origin story is a 4-year-old sang it like 15 years ago, and Gideon loved it so much he has recorded it and been performing it in house shows ever since. So we kind of took the idea of shooting that song, and within honestly like a couple hours on that Saturday, we had something. And we figured we'll try to make kind of like a botanical garden on the subway. And our incredible production design team, they just absolutely killed it and got tons and tons of plants. And it was very interesting trying to set that up on a moving train. But yeah, the origin story is we didn't have a very long one, I would say.
So how was the like how did you guys transport all those plants to the train? Like how many people on the production design team did you have? Like what was that whole process like?
We had about 5 people on the production design team. Pretty much, I think all except for maybe 1 or 2 PAs were a part of our shoot that week before. And we they bought all the plants, and we still had a rental truck that we had to keep for to return on Monday from
Mhm.
our commercial shoot. So they just went to the store and bought as many plants as they could, and transporting it, we had these huge carts that every single person, it was not, there was not a strong hierarchy on this film. Like direct or Ivan, our director, was helping transport things and setting things up. Gideon was, myself, like everyone was being scrappy and doing, helping out everything. And I think the production design team, or the production design in general, was the most complicated part of the process. So everyone was more than happy to help assist and kind of be a set dresser for the 20 minutes that it took to set up. So we were rolling these massive carts, and there was a funny moment where I was pretty sure that the we needed to get on the train very quickly with all these carts and all this equipment we were bringing in before they closed, the doors closed. But so we ran into the train with all these carts, making so much noise, being so anxious that the doors were going to close and we were going to forget someone or all this plants or something. And we got everything in, and the doors didn't close for like 3 minutes. I think because it was so late at night, it was just moving slow. So we got everything on, kind of did some DIY lighting, kind of blocked off some of the windows and the lights on the subway, and kind of just tried to set everything up. It was very scrappy. That's what I'll say, definitely.
Were those real commuters in the train or they were also part of the crew?
The guy at the end that was like, "Only in New York," could not have scripted that or gotten anyone on our crew to say that. Those are real MTA officers. We did have some of our crew on the train though, but I do have to say one thing, that for any of our crew, they had no idea what Gideon was going to do. Like
Mhm.
nobody had any idea. So very real and raw reactions regardless.
So like at the end of Sea Lion Cow, there was like this moving object that kind of crawled on this woman.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that was? And then it disappeared. I was like, wait, is it
Yeah.
my laptop? What happened there?
Yeah, we finished the film, or so we thought. Probably we shot this at like the end of July last year, and then finished it with color and everything maybe a month or two later, and the edit and the sound design, and we showed it to Bella, who wrote the song, and she's 18 years old now, just a very creative, wonderful human being. And we said, what else do we do with this? What do you feel? Do you think we should add anything else? And she said, what if she had this little stuffed animal that she had as a kid, and she said, what if we add something like this and animate it and put it in? And we were like, okay, sounds good, we'll do that. And then it took like 4 more months to do this little creature. So yeah, we just had the idea from her to add some little creature like lurking in the background, and we worked with an incredibly pro animation and creative design studio called Art Camp.
Mhm.
And they really helped us out and did their processes. I don't even know how to put into words because it's, beyond what I can comprehend or know how to do. So yeah, that was it. All came from Bella.
So, like, when you're deciding what film you want to produce, like, how is that thought process for you? Like, do you look at the script? Do you look at like how much creativity you can add to a film? Like, how do you choose what you want to produce?
I feel like it kind of depends. There's definitely certain things I look for and I value in kind of growing my portfolio, or also just, the experience and working with people. I think I love working on projects with people that are very passionate. I think I definitely will hop onto pretty much any project where I can really feel how passionate the filmmaker is, and how maybe unique a story is, the crew that's already attached. I think there's so many different things that I like to look at when I see projects. But I think I'm just always drawn to unique projects. I think that's really great because I do a lot of commercial and branding work. So it's so wonderful to work on like passion projects like these where people are just so passionate about film in general, and are willing to be scrappy or try new things. And I also love documentary projects as well. So I love kind of looking at what's out there, who's working on what, and lending any assistance I can, because I want everyone to kind of be able to tell their stories and everything. So it's a
Mm.
little bit of everything.
When you read the script, how do you know how you would approach producing this?
I when Ivan showed me what we were working with, I was kind of like, you're crazy. You're going to give me about 10 hours to figure out how we're going to get a botanical garden on the subway. Thank you for that. So I was kind of like already said yes to whatever Ivan wanted to do. I said, I'll produce whatever you want to do.
Mm.
Was a little shocked with how much they wanted to do in so little time. So I think initially I maybe had like a moment of panic of like, I don't know, because it's very, very hard to record on the subway. It's a very notorious thing, even since this has been out, or this is premiered, or I posted anything about it. I'm getting so many directors and producers messaging me asking how it was accomplished because it's notoriously a very expensive and a very difficult process to do. So I kind of just said that we'll have to do it guerrilla style, and everyone, who's comfortable with that, like,
Mhm.
if anyone's not comfortable with doing it that way, they're more than welcome to, step out. And honestly, I leaned so heavily on our production design team to figure out how we were gonna, dress this set, I'll say in quotes. But I think it was just taking it moment by moment, and knowing that eventually we'll get there.
What is something that you've learned about yourself in this project?
I think something I learned is that as long as you go for it and try your best, usually it'll work out. And I think this and the commercial shoot that we had prior to this, that all kind of blends into one because they were both equally hard, but also working with the most amazing people regardless. So I think also something I learned as like a producer is the value of having just incredibly resilient people on your team. That makes a world of a difference, especially if the project is really, really hard. Just having people that are always kind, um, always willing to help out wherever needed, and always understanding and patient. So I think that is kind of like the biggest takeaway as a producer. Is it seems kind of obvious as you grow and work on more projects. Sometimes you're more keen to try to find someone who has, more experience, or kind of has this coolness about them, or this like up and coming chatter that you want to work with these people. And I think something that I learned too is that kindness and resilience will always outrank whether or not someone, is quote unquote cool and has stuff going for them, because you can just make incredible stuff with people, regardless, as long as they're willing to be a part of it and be creative.
And I know many times, filmmakers or creatives, they look back and there's always something they would want to change. Is there anything you would want to change, or it's perfect the way envisioned?
I don't know if I would change anything about the film. I feel like it is so quintessential New York City. I
Mhm.
think the reactions we got were amazing. I think the reaction at the end from that man who said, botanical garden on the G train, only in New York. That is just like such a serendipitous moment, that I'm so happy we captured. I think the only thing I would change differently is, maybe just having more confidence in what we'll be able to pull off. I think throughout this process, we never in a million years ever thought that we would end up at Tribeca. We thought maybe if it's decent enough, we'll put it on like Instagram,
Mm.
and then nobody will watch it because nobody watches anything for more than 15 seconds on Instagram or TikTok. So I think, if I could change one thing, it would just be having confidence and believing a little bit more in what we were creating, because I think just getting into Tribeca is a testament to, these projects that you can kind of create on a whim, can have just as much as the impact of projects that you create for years and years. Throughout this past like couple months of knowing we got into Tribeca, it's just the thing I've been telling all my filmmaker friends is that you truly, like, sometimes you don't even realize what you're creating is a little bit magical, and just to always go for it and be crazy.
Did
Hopefully.
Isabella had to train the actor as well to sing it the way it was sung 18 years ago? 15 years ago, sorry.
No, it was just recorded in the car. She was in the car and her father was just recording her singing,
Oh.
and was like, this is a very interesting song for a 4-year-old to be singing. This is really, these lyrics are weirdly profound. And even when I like was hanging out with her this weekend, I was like, she's like 100 years old. She is so wise beyond her years. I'm so envious of how smart and confident and sure of herself she is at her age. I'm so jealous that I didn't have that. uh, but yeah, it was just her father recorded it, sent it to Gideon, and was like, "This is bizarre. What is going on with this little girl?" And Gideon just loved it so much. So it's been over a decade in the making. So yeah, it's really special.